There are a lot of commercial Indian movies that derive its plot from the real-life incidents, and like those, JanaGanaMana is another film which is influenced by many real-life incidents, especially the 2019 Hyderabad gang rape case and the extrajudicial killings that followed the incident. The case of a doctor in Hyderabad who was raped and murdered, after which the accused were killed by the police when they tried to escape, is still afresh in public memory. This film has quite an interesting setup. At the interval plot, they get the audience to cheer for the encounter killings, which is unfortunately quite popular in our society as well, only to spend the next half showing why that whole idea is very wrong. The film shows what exactly is the problem with the police breaking the law through these actions, how each of us are conditioned to pass judgments on people merely based on how they look and what they wear, the misplaced public sentiments in the favor of such execution and why they shouldn't be celebrated, all of them through a well-knit story. If we talk about the movie's storyline starts with the murder of a professor named Sabha Mariam, who's played by MAMTA Mohandas. The next day's newspaper claims that Sabha was brutally raped and murdered, which became sensational news, and her students start an agitation demanding a fair inquiry into the murder. To divert the viewers, the vice chancellor of the university plays the religion card by saying Sabha is from a particular community, which further agitates the students, who are beaten up brutally by the police, and the case is handed over to a high-ranking police officer named Sajjan Kumar. Sajjan is played by Suraj. He takes over the case and regains the trust of students and the public through a fair investigation. Within days, he finds the culprits behind Sabha's murder. However, due to lack of evidence and pressure from above, Sajjan is removed from the case. But before he leaves the case, he shoots down 4 of the convicts in a fake encounter, which is then celebrated by the public and the media. The second half is set in a courtroom where Prithviraj arrives as Arvind Swaminathan and reveals the truth about Sabha's death. In the courtroom, Prithviraj's Arvind asks all the important questions that has shaken the democratic spirit of this country, from Rohit Vemula's death to tribal Madhu's murder in Kerala. The film is wrapped up then. I'm sure you love the storyline, but still, this movie has its positive and some problematic elements as well, and that is why I am here, Samaksh Malhotra, discussing, in my opinion, what are the positives and negatives of this film. Starting with the positive number 1 is its near perfect writing. JanaGanaMana draws its script developments because from real life news in big and small ways. For instance, a point is made fleetingly about the prejudice against Muslim women who cover their heads, while another cites outward appearance as his barometer, and a politician declares that he is willing to ban notes and even votes to retain power. All these are fitted into a script that ends up being primarily about caste oppression. The writing and the story trajectory of the courtroom drama is something I cannot even begin talking about because it is too engaging even to talk about. You just have to watch this film in the theater to understand what I'm speaking. On number 2, we have the issues covered because caste biases, discrimination and atrocities are JanaGanaMana's main concerns. It raises some uncomfortable debates on how those who raise questions are branded and targeted, how the media sets the narrative, how it plays into inherent biases of common people, and how the politics of identity is used to divide people for votes. Last, I watched a movie that covered a whole lot of issues like this film was, A Thursday starring Yami Gautam. Then the third point, which is very positive, is the acting, because Prithviraj, like his previous movies, steals the show with his powerful performances as an advocate who asks hard-hitting questions. Suraj, as a police officer of many shades, also puts up a convincing performance, but once the camera rests on Prithviraj Sukumaran's character, it rarely moves away from him as he belts out speech after speech after speech, steeped in powerful messaging that, despite the loudness and melodrama of those scenes, is largely well-reasoned. While these were the positive aspects, let's turn the page and flip the coin to understand what were the underwhelming aspects of this film. Number 1 is the misdirection of the movie. One problematic aspect of the movie is the scene where a college lecturer, which is played by the director himself, asks the student in a pep talk before a protest whether students in other universities are getting beaten up by the police for going to Kiss of Love. What the director or the screenwriter did not understand is that a Kiss of Love was a relevant and innovative form of protest against fascism and moral policing. The makers seem to have blatantly ridiculed the spirit of the protest, have included it in the film just for the sake of it. The second negative aspect is its pretentiousness. The underprivileged characters in the movie don't get the voice of their own, but rather Rather, all such characters are shown as weak, as helpless characters who either kill themselves or get killed. This makes the movie all more pretentious. Prithviraj Swaminathan, who from his name is an upper caste man, is shown as the savior of the underprivileged, which is another problematic aspect of the movie. The third point being overshadowing. There are many characters that just come and go in the movie, but none of them are memorable because of a strong protagonist. MAMTA also does not get much scope to perform in this film. Despite its right intent and partly interesting structure, the making is quite uneven. Much of the treatment is loud and also overdramatic. In the end, the savior complex should not come as a surprise for anyone who has seen the director's film Queen with its deeply problematic treatment of rape. So JanaGanaMana is a vast improvement of Queen when it comes to direction. And when it comes to actors, Prithviraj and Suraj have teamed up back in Lal Jr.'s smartly written That Driving License that came out in 2019. That film was also an excellent addition to the Malayalam language of films from which emerged some of the best Indian cinema of the past decade. JanaGanaMana, I think, is undistinctive, notwithstanding its brave throwaway lines and moments that made my liberal heart sit up and take notice. Those who love a good political crime thriller inspired from real-life incidents can feast on JanaGanaMana that teaches you to think, question, challenge, and more as a common man who consumes news at its face value. So that was the video, guys. If you liked it, do remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel while pressing the bell icon so whatever I upload next, you get the notification first. Also remember to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The handles are right in front of you. Thank you so much. See you next time.